if God is telling you to take the leap, then take the leap because it's gonna be God or it's gonna be God.
Yeah, I like that. It's gonna be God or it's gonna be God. That's so true.
And at the end of the day, like for me, God has been telling me to do this for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I literally felt like I was suffocating. Like I was at a point where I had to go. And you don't want to get like it's gonna happen either way. So you can either do it, be obedient or not.
I made it come up. I made it come up. I made it come up.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Interviews with your brand man, guys. I am back, and I am with the phenomenal entrepreneur, Miss Kawana House. I have had the pleasure of knowing her for a very long time, since high school, and she has this phenomenal brand with swagging, like everything with swag. Dad, mom, daughter, wife, traveling, healing, like the whole swag brand, and she is killing it. Every time I make a post about her wardrobe, people want it, y'all. And so I had to bring her on here. I had to have her talk to you guys about how she even got here. But please give her a round of applause in your car, in your studio, in your laptop, on your cubicle, wherever you are listening and watching this. Please show her some love. Kawana House, how are you? How are you? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for that introduction, Jared.
You're more than welcome, yo. Please, Kawana, tell the people about yourself. Tell them who you are, where they can find you, what you do, and just give them the whole Kawana spiel for me.
Sure. So again, my name is Kawana. It's actually interesting. By trade, I am HR. So I've been in corporate HR for a bit, but Jared and I are friends. We've talked about this many times about how when we were younger, we always were trying to sell something.
Yep.
I mean, when I was younger, I was doing hair, I was selling jewelry. I always had a heart for entrepreneurship when I was younger. And in fact, a lot of times when I just got tired of working for a job, I would just go in business for myself for a while, just to make ends meet between jobs, just to give myself a breather. But this time was different. I can't tell you why it was different. But and I'm a believer, so I'm gonna talk about God. I ain't gonna
Yeah, and don't hold it back. We listen, I'll be preaching on here.
Yeah. So God had gave me not just one business idea, but several business ideas. And Mommin with Swag was one of them. And really, Mommin with Swag was birthed out of just wanting to look cute while you're working from home, while you're going out with the kids, and not just moms, dads, aunts. The line is, it's just doing it with swag, right?
Yeah.
So for me as a mom, I realized that I was kind of letting go of myself, like, and not in a way of, just like appearance, like, oh, I'm home at work, working with the camera off, so I don't have to,
keep up.
Present myself a certain way, but I'm like, no, girl, you cute. You could be leisure, you could be leisure, but still be cute. And really the whole idea behind Mommin with Swag is that, you're doing it with coverage, you're doing it with strength. It's just a reminder that we're doing these things, but we're doing these things with all of these attributes, and we can look cute while we're doing it. We can have our swag on while we're doing it as well.
Yo, I like that. I didn't even know the history behind it, but I really do like that because it's so true. Like, especially after the pandemic hit and everybody working from home, man, everybody just got used to, bonnet working on the laptop.
Yes.
But now you can do it with swag, is what you say.
Yes.
Big facts. All right, cool. So we're just going to jump right into this interview, and I'm just going to start off how I ask all the questions in general. It's just like, walk us through your past. Like you said, you were in high school, you used to sell everything. I know I used to sell candy, like I used to sell tasty stations. That was my number one
Yeah.
candy seller. But how was your upbringing, and how did it culture your thrive and your drive to be an entrepreneur? Like you said, you know, whenever you got tired of a job, you actually said, yo, I can do this for myself. So take us back to young Kawana, young Kawana. What was that spark? What was your upbringing like?
So, you know, it's actually interesting that you say that, because you know how a lot of times people talk about generational curses, but they don't talk
Yes.
about the generational blessings.
Amen.
And in my family was blessed with entrepreneurship. So
Oh.
my grandfather was a plumber in construction by trade. My uncle a plumber, my aunt a plumber, and all of us, we really just have we're just good with our hands.
Wow, your
There's
aunt was a
also
plumber.
my aunt was a
Wow.
plumber. Yep. So, and she actually had her own cleaning business as well. So, I didn't even, you know how you are aware of something, but you don't realize,
Yeah.
the impact it's had on your life. But I saw them be successful in their own business. They never worked for anybody.
Yeah.
Like these were, well, some of them never worked for anybody, but this was their business. So, when I was younger, I always did hair. Always did hair. Like, I think I was in middle school, you know, doing the girls' hair in the neighborhood for money. And then as I got older, I started to, you know, when I didn't want to work, I was
You would
doing
just do
hair, and
hair.
that was how I was making my money. And I remember at one point, I think I was in law school getting my paralegal certificate, and I was working at banking at the time, and I just didn't want to work for anybody at that point. So I started to travel to do hair. So I would travel all over Philadelphia to do people's hair, and it was really fruitful for me. One, for the business, and then two, for a lot of single moms who, you know, couldn't get out to the salon to get their hair braided. You know, I was able to provide that service to them, for them to get their hair done at home. And you know, with braiding, really, it was just, I have been braiding since I was younger.
So what age did you learn how to braid at? Because you said in middle school you started running it as a business, but what age did you learn how to braid, and who taught you?
I think I had to be like 8 or 9, and it was
Wow.
self-taught.
Oh, wow.
Self-taught, yeah.
So with baby dolls or your sisters or your
Yeah, my
cousins?
baby dolls.
Okay.
You know, I have a twin sister, so I would practice on my twin sisters here. And really, let me tell you all the real secret. So my mom, right, she used to cornroll my hair. And my mom was an awesome corn roller. But first of all, y'all know how we got them heavy-handed black mamas.
Oh man, yeah.
She used to tear my hair up. And then on top of that, I don't know if you ever remember this, but it was this video, and the corn roller was going around in like a racetrack, and a police car was going around the corn rolls.
Yes. A high school high.
Yes. That's how my mom used to do my hair. She used to have me in the craziest hairstyle. So for real, y'all, I'm keeping 100. The reason why I learned how to braid was because my mom had me looking crazy. Like I just wanted a plain, you know, cute little up with a ponytail, little swoop, and she would have me this.
She would have you with the cop cars driving in your hair.
Yeah, she was being very creative with my hair. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to learn how to do this myself.
Oh wow, and 8.
Yes, and I learned how to do it. You know, God bless her mom. She awesome mom, but my hair was looking crazy.
Oh man,
Yes.
man. Did your sister pick it up too, or were you the only one that picked it up? So everybody learned.
Everybody. You know, my sister, my cousin actually has not my cousin Sharice, so I have another cousin who actually has a hair salon. Actually 2 cousins who have a hair salon.
Wow.
And then you know, my cousin Sharice, she actually wound up getting licensed and does hair as well. But all of us naturally, like we just were naturally gifted with it before anybody got formal schooling.
Wow. And so when you took this on the road and you made this a business yourself, how were you kind of pushing and marketing yourself? Like, how did you learn how to expand your brand in a sense? Or were you just doing hair of people that you already knew and did it expand? Like, talk about that a little bit. Like, as the business grew, what are some of the things that happened? And, you know, you clearly jumped into the HR game, so you didn't stay in the hair game. So talk about your transition from the corporate world and HR and a little bit about the hair game too. And you know how you double dutch that thing. It sounds like you double dutch that thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'll talk about the hair first because it's been a gift that has continued to give. And maybe not necessarily like the hair part, but just the entrepreneurial part. So last year I wound up taking a leave of absence from my main gig just because it was too stressful. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Mhm.
It was too stressful and I just needed to take a break. Stressful, and I had the surgery that took place during that time as well. And during that time, again, going back to here, but then creating a brand with my cousin, collaborating with her and creating our hair brand that you'll hear about that down the line, but creating a brand with her, and I was able to continue to provide for my family, because when you go on leave you get some payment, but
But you don't get
it's
all of it.
delayed. It's a
Yeah.
fraction of what you get. So braiding was gave me the ability to bridge that gap while I was out on leave. But to answer your first question, when I was younger and I would braid, it was word of mouth. And, for that, it's timeless. Like
Yeah, it
when
is.
people can brag on you about what you've done for them, you don't have to sell yourself, because they trust who you're referring them to. So it was really word of mouth back then. And then going back to your question about how I transitioned to HR, actually very interesting. I thought I was going to be a lawyer.
Okay.
And there still might be something in the cards for me down the line, but I thought I was going to be an attorney. I started to go down the path of law school. It just didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to pan out. And I'm a type of person where when I was 12, I knew I was going to be a lawyer. I knew I was going to be a lawyer. I knew what school I was going to go to, all those things. And then once I got to that point, it didn't pan out. So it was kind of like, after that didn't work out, like what's next? And then I developed a passion for HR. I developed a passion for HR. So instead of finishing my law degree, I wind up getting my master's degree in human resource development. I was in banking at the time. After I got my master's degree, wound up landing my first corporate job in HR. And then the rest just took off from there.
Wow. So take us back to, you said you knew in your mind as a child your whole time that you wanted to be this lawyer. You knew what school you were going to. Were you actually going to the school that you wanted to go to?
I was.
You were. So when it didn't pan out, I'm not going to ask a hard question of why it didn't pan out, but let's talk about when it didn't pan out. Were you defeated? What was that moment like in life for you? What was that time like in life for you?
It was very defeating. I felt very defeated, but I'm glad that I went through that period, because I very much lived a life in which I planned every step and expected that every step took that way. So I very much thought I was in control of my life. Which is not, which we know is not the case. Things happen, plans change, and we had to be in a space where we anticipate that. And because I was so used to planning for it to go XYZ way, and it actually happening, when it happened, it was like a big shock. It was, I felt lost for a bit of a time about what was going to happen next, just because that plan didn't pan out. So it was definitely a big shock to my system.
Yeah. You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Exactly.
Yeah. So okay. So you landed your HR gig. So talk about that as far as your journey. Now, did you stay in entrepreneurial? Did you stay still doing hair? While you were working? What was your work life like, and how did that treat you? Because you wound up coming out of, because I want to go to where you're at now, because now you have all of your brands, you have all of this going on. So when did the energy for all of your brands and your clothing brand, when did that start? You've been doing hair, but were you still doing hair when you landed this job? Was that still a constant thing? And when did your, when did all of this entrepreneurial stuff just kind of burst out of you?
I think it was when I went out on leave. When I went out on leave, and it was really God, because let me tell you something about entrepreneurship, and I know you know this as well. It's very hard, especially when you're used to getting a steady paycheck, to take the leap into entrepreneurship. So, although I did the things on the side, they were very much on the side.
Yeah.
And once I got to the point, because God will put you in a position where you're pushed to understand that something will make it work. Because I can't say that I took the leap, because I didn't. I like tripped and fell. Instantly. We gonna keep it 100 over here.
Right. But slipped on the crack.
but he showed me that I could do it, and it could be purposeful. It could bless others that, were involved. Even with us doing hair, we would do people's hair and they'd be like, oh my gosh, y'all nice. Huh? What you mean?
Hold on, let's talk about that part. Why is it so hard for Black people? I don't know if it's Black people or just people in general. Why is it so hard for us to take compliments?
You know what? I was just surprised that they dealt with so many other hairstylists who weren't nice.
That part right there, right? Yeah,
so they're like, y'all so nice, y'all so professional. And I'm like, well, who you been dealing with? So, that, like, this is the purpose behind it, right? Okay. And then with Mommin with Swag, I'm naturally a creative. We went to high school, we went to creative and performing arts. And I'm like, to suppress my creativity is like to suppress me as a being. Yeah, man. And I realized that my last role, I'm not saying anything bad against the company because I learned a lot there. My last role was very much keeping me within a box. It was a guise of creativity, but it was within said box. But with my businesses, the sky is the limit. Listen, I be calling Jared up. I be like, Jared.
ideas on ideas, yo.
And he be like,
let's get it.
He be laughing just like that. But it's just that creative flow. And I just love that. Like, I need that for the rest of my life.
Yo, you do. And I was listening to this video, and the gentleman was talking about how businesses really run on systems. You need to have a good system. You need to have good habitual systems in place for your business to run. And so most businesses, most corporations need people like androids that just fit that position, keep the system going. And it doesn't really make room for creativity. So creative people find it very hard to fit into this system, into this box, like you said. And so we're being suppressed, and like you got your higher ups like suppressing you to try and fit in the system. It hurts us even more. So we need to be creative, because honestly, most of the creative people are the CEOs and the bosses and the leaders, because they're the thought thinker, they're the thought provokers, they're the thought leaders, I'm trying to say, and they push the needle forward, but there's only but so much room at the top. And so that's why I do love entrepreneurship. And even with business, like being a partner in businesses, I had to come to the realization I'm not a good partner. I'm not a good like business partner, split business. No, I'm not, because I don't like asking permission. Like, I had to realize that about myself. I don't like asking permission. I'm a mad scientist. So I like to just go for it, measure it out, see what works, see what doesn't work. I will make a fool of myself. I don't care at all. And so it is a part about being creative and being stuck in the box, because I have been there too. So what would you say to somebody that is actually kind of dealing with this? They're in a position, they're at a job, they're highly, highly creative, and they haven't quite tripped and fell into the situation yet themselves. God hasn't quite pushed them. They don't know where they want to go or where they want to be. How would you help this person unstifle their creativity?
I would say two things. To try to do it on the side, to really ask God, what is it that you would have me do? Because this was not me. Like, I'm talking about that God gave me the vision for several businesses, and he's still, compounding on top of that, and showing me how far that these things can go. But to ask God to give you the vision, because a lot of times we don't realize that when our creativity is stifled, it literally like shuts off. It's like a faucet. It shuts off that creative flow so much that you got to even tap back into it. You got to get a plumber to tap back into that faucet so that you can get back into it. And then once it flows, it's like unclogging a pipe. It just starts to flow. The second thing I would say is if God is telling you to take the leap, then take the leap. Because it's gonna be God or it's gonna be God.
Yeah, I like that. It's gonna be God or it's gonna be God. That's so true.
And at the end of the day, like for me, Guy has been telling me to do this for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I literally felt like I was suffocating. Like I was at a point where I had to go. And you don't want to get like it's gonna happen either way. So you can either do it, be obedient, or not.
or sacrifice some things that you want. It's so true, because I've had that moment where I was trying to hold on to things and I felt stifled myself, and I was just trying to hold on, and you ain't never lied. That's why when it came time for me to make this leap the second time, I knew I heard God's voice, and I remember the pain of not being obedient. Like that is, now you want to talk about stifling, like it's paralyzing. It's paralyzing. I was paralyzed at that point. You spoke on how you had a lot of entrepreneurial influence in your childhood. Now, when being around them, did you pick up any skills, any plumbing skills, any of those, or any skills in general in business, like, you know, payouts and taxes and, you know, customer acquisition? What were some of the experiences that you may have picked up on from your childhood from that?
That's a funny question. A lot.
Okay.
So construction. So I've helped put the floors down in my mom's house. I could put a floor down. The electricity in my house, I did the rewiring.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. My grandfather was an electrician by trade. Yeah, like when I tell you, there's things I can tell you, especially around my house, that I did. Like I resurfaced the top of my table, just a whole bunch of things. And if I had more time, I'd probably be doing more. But yeah, and my mom, she always got a project going on in her house, and she does it completely by herself. So yeah. So it just really, by seeing and then doing, a lot of times I'll use something. Okay, boom, boom, boom.
It makes sense because you already got the foundation in your head on how it could go.
Yes.
Yo, that is super, super dope. So tell me, I'm curious, like, how does that mix up in like your love life? Like, if you find a man that can't sand the table, does that like, or can't change a tire?
Jared, maybe this is why I'm still single. I'm kind of intimidated. Yeah, like, yeah.
I totally get it. I totally understand. My mom, like, she was highly self-sufficient, and my grandfather was a carpenter as well. And so she knew how to fix a lot of things. And so it was always irking to her, a man that couldn't like change a tire or put gas in the car, couldn't figure out how to do some certain things in the house. And so my mom taught me a lot of like the fix-it things around the house myself, and showed me. And she always just said, no, nobody want a trifling man, but a trifling woman. That was always her thing. You gonna learn how to do this stuff. So she did. She taught me and my brother how to do that stuff, because she was like, it's the most annoying thing in the world. So that's funny. I had to ask that question.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps. But yeah, I guess it can be kind of intimidating.
I think so. When you see your ladies busting out the sander and you don't even know where the on switch is. It's a little intimidating.
Yes, he don't have to know I do that though. We can hire somebody. It's all good.
Do you ever dumb it down like you don't know what you're doing, or have you ever seen a man like doing it wrong and you like, bruh?
You know, no, I don't think I've ever dumbed it down. You know why? Because it's especially at this age, because you know, you learn a few things, and just like being in so many environments where you're suppressed, this is me, this is who I am. And to be honest with you, I ain't even trying to do that stuff no more. Listen, we can hire somebody.
No, that's right.
Right. But no, like it's really, even with, the businesses and being ambitious and being a visionary, whoever, God ordains me to be with, I know that they'll accept all of that, because, sometimes it can be intimidating, but I believe that whoever it is, they'll accept me in a fullness.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts on facts on facts. So here we are now. We're in this year now. Now you got the dope brand. It is out. We've been working this thing. You've been selling out at your vending events, and you're gonna continue to sell out some more. Just walk us through where you are now in your head, and where do you see your business and your businesses in like the next 5 years? Like, what are some of the things that you're working on now? Some of the ideas. Where are you at right now, and what are you doing right now?
Mommin with swag. It's I have a shirt on now, t-shirts,
Yes.
Sweatsuits, things like that. I do plan on expanding that line to athletic wear. I do love to work out. And this is not to be offensive for anybody, but I don't want all my stuff hanging out when I'm working out. I do want to be cute, so it will be cute, but, I have a daughter. I want to be a role model to her.
Classy,
as well.
yes.
So I want something that's comfortable to work in, but not, super, super revealing. So athletic wear is the next thing that's coming out, as well as, to chilling with swag. We chilling with swag. So you hear this on here, don't try to steal it. I already know. Chilling with swag. That's actually gonna be our partnership. Me and the brand man. I'm chilling with swag, and that's gonna be, exactly what it say it is. For you to sleep in, for you to Netflix and chill, all those things. That's gonna be our next thing. And then MWS. So MWS is going to be the more luxe line. So I love luxury bags. I've had my fair share of, I ain't gonna name no names, but my fair share of them brands. I'm just gonna call them brands.
Them brands, we know.
Yeah. Yes, but when you begin this process and you understand that, I can make my own luxury bag. I can make my own luxury clothes, and I do love luxury. I love, putting a nice dress on, heels, all those things. So I do want to branch into that, because baby steps. You gotta start out and then continue to build on that. So those things are to come. I also have my consulting firm that I'm really excited about. So just brought on 2 new clients with that, and just planning to duplicate myself. I really am big on sharing, and I think a lot of times we don't want to share our knowledge of what we have, and we really need to cultivate a culture where we're not afraid to share and see other people win. Because it's enough out here for everybody. I
don't know why it's been like that. I don't know why the game is kind of sold, not told in that case, because it's just like we get there so much faster together than we do apart. Yeah. Talk about your consulting business a little bit. We didn't touch on that much. What is that all about? What's the name? You mentioned the name, I believe, but tell us about that.
True. Yeah, so it's True Solutions HR Consulting, and basically it was birthed out of the industry just needing HR. There is a lot of expertise that comes with somebody who is in the HR, who has HR skills, and whether it's training and developing a team, whether it's making sure that those employee files are together. And it's really having a visionary on board, because a lot of times somebody who is in HR, like for my organizations, I work hand in hand with the owners of those businesses. So it's not just seeing where they are now, but seeing where they need to go, the things that need to be put in place so that there is longevity and stability in an organization, and just being able to predict past what you can see right there. Because a lot of people, when they think of HR, they think of just hiring and firing. No, I'm a
customer complaints.
Yes. I'm a strategic partner. I'm going to help you do what you need to do to get what you need to go. So it's a lot of things that go into that with building.
Sounds like business systems and business structures. And I can see that in your business alone. I see that you have the automated reply system already. First of all, I didn't even know Instagram had automated reply systems until I tagged you in a picture. I was like, hold on, figure this out. And so I can tell that you're very good with understanding systems. Did that come from, I love the dog in the background. He's like, yep, I'm in this podcast too, bro. You mean? But did your experience growing up with being around family and business, do you think that cultured you and helped you understand the importance of systems?
My aunt, she really is, my mom, everyone in my family, the one thing they didn't do, they didn't play about work. Like if they were working, my aunt used to say, put your whole egg in it.
Yep, put it all in.
Put it all in it. Don't do it half hatched.
Yep.
And they really instilled that into me. So just whatever you're doing, do it as your best.
Amen.
And for me, I think of it as if I'm somewhere, it's because God sent me there. Especially if the Lord sent you someplace, or you want to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So really that is the lens that I look at it from.
Nice. Now, I love how you said that. One of my best lessons I've ever learned was from my uncle, who picked up his carpentry trade from his father.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started my record label, I built a studio out of cardboard. Yeah. Right out of high school, I started a record label. And me and my brother, we went out there and we sold over 10,000 copies of his album. Oh yeah, hand-to-hand sales on the street. And but when I was building the studio, at first I built this entire studio out of a partition, and then I wrapped it in plastic and cardboard box and painted that joint. And then I soundproofed it and I put it like tape it was all the way to the top. It was a real deal thing. And I painted it. I put cardboard in the middle of it, like in the center, some egg cartons to try and soundproof this joint. And I brought my uncle through so he can show. I was like, I need to build a real booth. And he was like, honestly, Jared, this is not a bad kind of makeup you got here, minus the duct tape, but like, okay. So we went out and we got all the materials, and he just pretty much helped me build the framework and showed me how to do the rest. And I remember just looking like, oh man, this is a lot of hard work. And he was just like, well, Jared, remember this always. He said, if you do things right the first time, you never have to go back and do it again.
Listen.
And you will, if you put the hard work in, do the hard work, you won't even remember it. If you do it right and you don't got to go back, you won't even remember the hard work.
Yes.
And I take that with me. So everything I approach it at a hard work. Like people kind of think I'm a little crazy because even if it comes to like moving things in the house, I'll go in I'm like zoned out. People like, we need more people. I'm like, I don't need nobody. I'm good. Like, give me that couch. Like, because I don't know what it is, but it's just like hard work. I run towards it. And, people always say, well, work smarter, not harder. And I'm like, yes, I agree. Like, yes, lighten your load. However, you have to work hard because if you don't, you got to go back and do some things over again.
Do it over again. Yep.
For real. And that was one of the best lessons I've learned in life. So that's interesting that you kind of got that same lesson from the same kind of entrepreneurial spirit that led that, because he learned that from his father. So you told us about where you're going, where you're moving on to, and what you got going on. Now, let's just talk to the person. I want to talk to the former you. I want to talk to the former you that was let down when they didn't get what they had planned. There's so many people out there I know that just plan their situation to the T. Yeah. And when, like we said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And so you got your plans. When your plans fall through, what do? You talked about it a little bit, but just kind of go in deep and talk directly to the person that might be down right now because their plans have all the way fell through. Like, what encouragement can you give them because you're on the opposite side of that?
I would say that I thank God for all of my failures because it's it put me in a position where now when those situations take place, because at some point you got to overcome them, right? Yeah. And really, it's a process. So now, like I was a person who very much wanted to fit in, and just because of the process of what I've been through. Now, when I go forward, I don't care. I don't care about fitting in. I don't care about fitting in a mold, but I had to go through that process in order to get to this point. So I would say the process is important. Okay. And for me, when anybody sees me at a certain point, I'd be like, oh no, baby, this was a process. Oh no, baby, this was prayer. Because a lot of times people want to present themselves like, oh, I'm such and such. No, baby. But this was the process.
Yes,
and
yes.
it makes you have more faith.
Amen.
It makes you more fearless.
It
because
does.
once you done fell on your face 10 times, you don't care about that.
Yeah, the scabs done tripled up your skin.
Good.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Fail forward. Yeah. And
that's
it builds up that muscle memory. It builds up that muscle memory.
And that's exactly how I feel now. It's why not?
Yeah.
All they're gonna do is say no. Why not?
Why not?
And if they say no, you ain't talking to the right person.
Yeah. If they say no, man, I love it, because truly when one door closes, so many more open, and you gotta you gotta understand that every door ain't meant for you, even if you did plan to walk through it,
Yes.
I love that. So talk about your why as we wrap this up, but let's talk about your why. Like, what's your why? What drives you every day to wake up and do what you do so well?
Number one, God. I believe that, especially in his dispensation, like he literally has sent me to different avenues. And I want to do a good job before him. Like he the father. Yeah, but it's also my kids. I want to show them what entrepreneurship looks like. I don't want them to have the same struggles that I had of having to, struggle with taking a leap, because it was very much for me. We don't realize we being in bondage for real.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I say that in a way that, sometimes people don't quit their main job, and that's fine. But I was in bondage. I was very much, my creativity was in a box, as we spoke about earlier. So I don't want my kids to know that. I want them to have wealth. I want to be wealthy, and not wealthy so I can be rich to get the cars, the house, all that, all that's nice. But, how am I helping people? How am I giving back? And I think that is the important part.
Amen. Well, you all heard it. Yo, Kawana House, the with swag brand. And I love it too, because it's just like, even if you're doing it low key, do it with swag. Even if you in your house with it, do it with swag. Even if you chilling, do it with swag like that. I love the brand. Do everything in swag. And so we're about to enter our lightning round. I'm gonna just ask you about like 9 questions real quick. Okay. You got 5 seconds to answer it. All right, here we go. First question is, one word that describes you.
Unique.
Okay. Where does your strength come from?
God.
Okay. Who do you admire the most?
My leaders.
All right. What is your favorite thing to do?
Eat.
Easy one. Do you consider yourself successful?
Yes.
Okay. Give me 3 things you have to do every day.
3 things. Feed my kids, check my emails, and eat.
Okay. All right. Name 3 things you would consider to be good habits.
Being good time management skills. Being correctable. You said 3 skills? Being willing to change course.
Okay. And last 2 questions. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Ooh, that's a hard one. It's so many people. It's so many people. Like, my leaders at church, like a lot of them, just beyond, they are just really some awesome people. And the things that they do during the day, they are just really some impactful people. So my leaders at church, my friends, like everybody around me is, I feel like the divine connection.
Amen.
At this stage in my life, it wasn't always like that. But even in situations that didn't turn out so good, were inspiration as well. So
Amen. Yeah. Everything works out for your good. Everything.
Yes.
And last question, in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Where do I see myself? Hopefully in my vacation home in Africa.
That's right. Yes. Yes, vacation home in Africa. Let me come. Let me and my family come for sure. Yo, motherland, here we come. We coming to the vacation home, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, Kawana, this has been a dope interview. It is great to actually hear your journey. You know, like I never knew that it was with hair. Like it started with hair and like that creativity. And I'm sure too, when you were doing hair and just like even being creative with the styles and stuff, like it enhance your creativity. That's probably why you got all of these ideas just coming to you, because you've had so much time to culture that. And so I love it too. Like you grew up around the entrepreneurialism and you got your systems going. Yo, the sky is truly, truly the limit for you. Not even a limit. Like I don't even, you know, it's way past the sky. Like, and I see that and it's so dope. And like you said, you're around more inspiration. You're around more people. So you're going to propel even forward. And so with that being said, please tell everybody where they can find all of your brand information at, where they can go cop up on a swag and they can support you right now. Just drop it all down for them.
Sure. So Facebook, Instagram are Mommin with Swag, MOMMIN with, and then SWAG. And then we have momminwithswag.com. So nice. Instagram, Facebook, and then our website as well.
Nice. Well, y'all know where y'all heard it. Y'all heard it best. Mommin with Swag. Y'all gotta go check her out. Y'all gotta go check it out. Follow all her brands. Also, if you need any if you need HR consulting, it sounds like you know where you need to go to too for that. Like, listen, let's get all these contracts popping and rolling, yo. Yes. Kawana, thank you so much. We are so much better for this interview. The world now is inspired. I am sure that you inspire moms and womenpreneurs out there to the fullest. So thank you. Your dog saying thank you. We love you, mama. And with that being said, guys, we are out. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time, y'all. Peace.
I made it come up. I made it come up.
Check out our next episode. I am interviewing Judy Yeboah of Entice and Renew. Get ready to be inspired.